Hello everyone and welcome to session 7 of Q&A here at Dance School Startup. I hope you guys are well and you had a lovely Easter weekend and you're having a great week. So let's dive in with some new questions this week and see if we can get them answered for you. The first one is from Lizzie. Not sure if you've spoken about this, but any marketing ideas or tips? Some of my classes are full. Yes, some have 1 or 2 people, so I'm getting a bit worried. I've put out Facebook ads, shared posts in groups, and have planned to have stalls at events and fetes that are coming up in the summer. I have flyers to put out in venues when I start classes. Well, I mean, first of all, it sounds like you really are being proactive with all of this at this time, so try not to get worried or frustrated. Just remain consistent with everything that you are doing. We're still at a really delicate stage in the return to normal life, and these things are going to take time at the best of times, so don't lose focus. Things are going to pick up. We've spoken about marketing ideas on previous Q&As, so do have a nose through the previous sessions as each topic is listed along with the time that it starts in the video. And there may be something in there that you either haven't covered or sparks another idea. But one thing that I do want to talk about today is about how you're engaging with your prospective clients on social media. So when they reach out and engage with you. So I want you to consider if you're taking full advantage of when someone comments on one of your posts with either a question or perhaps they tag a friend that may also be interested in the class that you're advertising. These comments are a public forum for you to use to give some great details that others are also going to see. So try to resist replying to an inquiry by just directing them to your website or something along those lines. So for example, if someone asks you on a post, hi, do you do classes for 5-year-olds? Try not to just say, yes, we do. Have a look on our website at our full timetable to give you an idea. Instead, engage with them in the comments so that everyone can see the answer quickly and also see how approachable you are and how good at communicating within your business you are. And lots of people will ghost your page without commenting or liking, but that doesn't mean they're not looking and that they haven't seen it. And if there's a thread there where you're giving real detail and you're really taking the time to sell the experience that you're offering, you never know who's going to see that. And in turn, that's going to create more interest. So if someone tags a friend, don't just like the comment that's got the tag on it. Thank them for the tag. Ask if you can help with anything. You know, these are the perfect opportunities to strike up a conversation with a prospective client, and then you can get into a private message with them to finish up the conversation and of course get them to sign up to a trial. So have a think about that and ways in which you can improve your engagement with people that are already engaging with you. Okay, so the next question is from Tash, and this question says, we've spoken about an initial sign-up form which contains most of the information we need. How do you go about a follow-up form once they want to confirm themselves as an official student, including information such as medical and photo permissions, without making them have to fill everything else out again? So this is either something that can be at the back of a student and parent handbook that you might have created that they can sign and bring with them to their first class, or you can return to good old Google Forms and create a new member form which has all your terms and conditions in there. Now, I tend to do it this way, not just because I love Google, but also because nowadays the return rate of a piece of paper is so low. Okay, parents love anything that is quick and easy and are much less excited about having to remember to sign and return something, or even worse, have to print it out themselves. So if you give them a link that they can click and it's done in 2 minutes or less, you're winning. You know, the form just needs to say everything that you need to know. I agree to my child being photographed in classes and understand these may be used for promotional purposes. Yes or no? I agree, I do not agree. I agree to my child being filmed during class and that this may also be used for promotional purposes. Yes, I agree. No, I don't agree. cover your back, put everything in there that you need to, and contact anyone personally who flags up with something that needs your attention. So a severe allergy, regular medication needs, or if they've said no to being filmed or photographed, you're going to need to go into detail a bit more how that's going to be handled. The majority of your forms will be really straight and easy replies, so you'll only have to deal with anything as and when it pops up. But by having that form, it's easy for them to fill out, and it's easy for you to store the information, because obviously it will go straight to a spreadsheet. And in addition to that, if you've got something you need to deal with, you'll see very quickly and you can just make that phone call. So perhaps consider that and see if that helps. Okay, next up from Katie. How much do you charge for a child to do a solo? I'm adding up room hire, costume and competition entry, not even including paying myself, and it's already looking well over £300. Do parents pay this? So yes, some definitely do and some definitely won't. But the best thing you can do is put together a package. So by remaining transparent and detailing everything that it includes, a parent can then make an informed decision as to whether they want to commit to it financially, rather than just paying a lot of money and just wrongly presuming that it's all going straight into your pocket, because they don't understand what's actually involved in it. They might be completely new and they've got no idea what happens behind the scenes. If you market it as one fee covers all, choreography, rehearsal time and studio hire, their costume, you can then consider the option of them being invoiced for the competition entry fees separately, so it isn't such an intimidating sum to fork out at the beginning. Or if you want to include the comp fees for the year within that package, then consider detailing them out individually so they can see exactly what it covers and when, and then perhaps offer them a payment plan if that's necessary to help them afford it. Solos are a really expensive game, and I would actually recommend putting together a short guide of what to expect and the benefits of taking part and things like that before you start, and also be very clear to everyone in the school on how you will be choosing people or how people can be considered to have a solo. And it's also worth saying here that when you start doing solos, it can become a bit of a monster and it will take up a lot of your time. So if you're someone listening to this and you're considering offering solos or duos, just make sure you've really thought this through before you commit to anything, and that you've got a proper plan in place so that it doesn't take over your life. Okay, so it's great fun and there's so much joy to be had out of it, but if you're not careful, it will take over, and it will take over in a way that it could compromise your recreational kids that don't want to do competitions, and you really don't want that because they're your bread and butter. So think about how you can make sure that you're not excluding people, and how you can make sure that you're still having a life at the weekends and not just spending your life at competitions, because you'll burn out quickly and not necessarily enjoy it as much as you'd hoped. So I'm not putting a down on it because it is brilliant fun, but knowledge is power. If you know these things in advance, then you can plan for it, and that will help you to enjoy your experience as much as they will enjoy theirs. Okay, next question is from Kirsty. So, sorting out accounts, what does everyone use? QuickBooks. What do I have to do? It's so overwhelming. I'm going to be a limited company. Okay, so I'm in a really lucky position in the sense that my accountant is actually my best friend from when I was at school, when I was a kid, and she's actually moved away now, miles and miles away from me in Cornwall, but she has a wonderful accountancy firm that she developed. She's a girl boss, and she has some very high profile clients, and I'm lucky in the sense that she is such a good friend, and I can just do things like quickly ring her before I record this and get her advice. So Kirsty, this comes direct from my accountant. So she says that QuickBooks is popular because they are the most well known. They spend a lot on their advertising, but in her opinion, Free Agent is better. It's cheaper, and she also feels that it's much more user friendly. They have lots of videos and things like that, as sort of how-to guides for things that you're going to need to know, and is a lot better customer support. Now, apparently Free Agent is free with a NatWest bank account. So if you don't have a NatWest bank account, their bank charges are really low, around £5 a month, which, you know, even if it was a £10 a month, that's going to be probably at least a third of the price of QuickBooks, which at the moment is around £35 a month for a limited company. So if you go directly to Free Agent, they're approximately £25 a month, which already is a bit more of a bargain. However, she has told me that she can get a limited company license for £15 a month, or a sole trader license for £10 a month, which is half the price of QuickBooks. There's no ties to her at all. Obviously, if you need an accountant at the end of the year, she's great, but she's just able to do that because she has an account through Free Agent. So if that's of interest to you, I can easily put you in touch with her. As I say, you don't have to pay for it. There's no ties to her at all. She just gets a big discount, and she's more than happy to dole it out. She's says it's really easy to use, has really good support, and she knows it really well. And she also said, if you wanted to sign up through her, she'll get it sorted out for you, and if you've got any questions, she's more than happy to help. So if anybody is interested in learning more, send me a DM and I will share her email with you. Okay, so final question today is from Fiona. How did you juggle having a baby and running your school? Now, I could talk about this for hours. There are so many avenues I could take with this question that I think I'm actually going to do a podcast on it. But in short, nothing ever prepares you for how much your world is turned on its head when you have a baby. Things that you thought you'd be able to handle in your sleep suddenly seem impossible when you're running on no sleep. Okay, but being a successful business owner does not mean that you have to put your life on hold. Everything is possible. And obviously, the tighter the ship you run, the better. So it's easier to keep on top of everything whilst enjoying being a parent. Having good systems in place for the big admin tasks and planning way ahead for your events is so important. And I know I go on about it. I mean, that's why I've devised this 4-week course for it. I mean, that's exactly what we're covering in the first couple of weeks. But if you've got all of that covered, it is a tight, well-oiled machine. Life is going to be a lot easier. If you have a good support system around you, then obviously that's going to be a big help. And if people want to help you, you have to let them. All right, because I think as business owners and as dance school owners, we are control freaks a lot of the time. Okay, but if you're in a position where you can delegate, then do. Don't try to be a superhero. Doing everything yourself, you're just going to burn out, and end up feeling like you're failing at everything, which you won't be, but you'll feel like you're failing. And if I sound like I'm talking from experience, then I'll be honest, I am. Because that's exactly how I felt most of the time when I first had my son. And I was in a different position to a lot of you, because those watching this will probably, you're in the first stages of your business, and I was nearly 10 years into my business when I had my son. So I was lucky in the sense that I had several members of staff that could support me, and I had a great studio manager who was able to take on a bit more of the admin. But if you're at the beginning of your journey, there's every possibility that it's just you're doing this alone. So I massively encourage you to make sure you have a business schedule in addition to your teaching schedule. So one that has room for flexibility, because with children things can change at a moment's notice. But with a business schedule, if, for example, you know that on Mondays at 11 a.m. you have put aside an hour and you're going to be spent an hour on social media bits, or on Fridays at 9 o'clock each week you chase up prospective clients, having these things in place, you can make sure you're getting everything done and nothing's being missed. So that is number one, is you've got to have a business schedule as well as a teaching schedule that you stick to as much as possible. But set realistic goals that are sustainable, and don't commit to too much in the early days. so you can do the things that you have committed to well. Have realistic expectations about how much you're going to fit into a day with a little one to look after, and then plan accordingly, because you want to enjoy this, yeah, but you want to enjoy all of it. You want to enjoy your business, but you also want to enjoy being a parent. And you're going to have days when you are smashing it and you feel like you've got this whole business owner, mum boss thing under control, and you'll have days when you have lost the plot and you're crying into your coffee, and that is also okay. You can only do your best, all right? And that is your mantra. I can only do my best. But I think the hardest part really is dealing with mum guilt. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, every working parent feels it. That pull between living your life, growing a business, and being a parent can take its toll sometimes, and it can leave you feeling like you aren't giving enough of you, enough of your time to any of it. But you need to know that you can only do your best, and if you do ever feel that way, you aren't alone, and tomorrow's another day. And you need to reach out for the help that you need, especially while you're in this group, because there'll be plenty of people in a similar situation or have been there themselves, and talk it out, and there will always be a solution. Honestly, you can have it all. It just needs a bit of planning, and it needs patience, and it needs you to be flexible. Okay, and there are now so many more options for you after having a baby. And also, you might, if anyone's listening to this and they're about to have a baby, you have the opportunity now for the father to take on some of that paternity leave, which is what happened in my family. So I had something like 8 weeks maternity leave, and then my husband took the rest, and he became a stay-at-home dad for the first year. Now, that is what worked for our family. I run a business, I couldn't walk away from it. He's a full-time teacher in a secondary school, so his job was secure. So it made sense in our situation to have him stay at home and me work with him and on the business. So, that's always an opportunity now that they've allowed that to happen with the shared maternal/paternal leave. So have a look into that, because that actually just came out just as I was pregnant. So if you weren't aware of that, then look into it. But whether you've got kids or not, it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be a crazy ride. And having children is such a wonderful experience, and there's no need for it to be filled with dread every day. Am I going to get everything done? If you've planned it and you're on top of everything, then you can enjoy it all. So bear that in mind, and good luck.